Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Friday Edition, the 222nd episode, I believe. Jeez, been doing this a long time. Highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan, the All Pro JAFFOs. I'm your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
With us, the greatest DJ on the ones and twos, Mr. DJ Mad Six.
Nobody tells DJ Request what to play.
And joining us, obviously, you guys know the fashionably late one, the 6'10 beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K.
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
And it's kind of been a little bit of a slow week, but a few things have happened in the sports world that we could talk about today. Before we got into anything, I did want to ask, because Mad Six, you did bring it up before the show on Wednesday. So I wanted to see if you had any sort of comments about what was going on with the whole with the Blindside, Michael Orr and the Tuohys and everything else like that, since you weren't able to be with us on Wednesday to talk about it.
That shit is just wild to me. Like, how, like, okay, like, I get it. Like, I'm just saying, wondering why it's taking them so long to come out at this point and say something about it. That's been like, that movie was out, what, 2005?
2009.
Yeah. So why is it just now coming out? And it just goes to show, like, I mean, if it's true, that just goes to show, I mean, just go back to white people just do what the fuck they want to do and think they can just get away with it. You know, they just took advantage of a black man and, you know, took advantage of a situation and capitalized off of it. Same shit they've been doing for the past 400 years.
I mean, I was just looking at the situation, and again, I talked about it with Kay on Wednesday a little bit, because I really didn't know where to think, because the Tuohys even came out and did their, released a statement and everything from the lawyers saying basically how outlandish all of this stuff has been. Apparently, Michael Orr has been trying to find lawyers to back him up in this case for a while now, and has been wildly unsuccessful because the lawyers that he's dealt with have essentially told him he's got nothing. So now he's finally found a lawyer who's willing to kind of go in and entertain what he's been, talking about. Because even after The Blind Side first came out, and this is what I told Kay, even when The Blind Side first came out in 2009, shortly after the movie, we remember Michael Orr coming out saying the movie didn't necessarily depict him the right way. The movie made it seem like he was new to football and everything when he got into high school, that he wasn't, as up on the intelligence scale as it was portrayed in the movie. But that was the only thing that really kind of came out of the whole thing. Now, all these years later, I mean, it like he got Britney Spears somehow, some way. He got the conservatorship, like, and it just, it's tough. It really is tough, because I don't want to sit here and, I mean, I understand completely. Like, I don't want to sit here and blame somebody and say, oh yeah, because I'm seeing it all over social media. As soon as it came out, everybody's backing up Michael Orr. The Tuohys did wrong. The Tuohys did this. The Tuohys did that, without really knowing the entire story. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, the Tuohys were a piece of shit, and they've taken advantage of him his whole life and everything else like that, when that may not have been the case. It could have been, or it can be Michael Orr. I mean, a money grab, or I don't know if he's broke or anything like that, but this is one of those things, especially since he's been, according to the lawyers of the Tuohys, he's been looking for lawyers to do this for so long. It makes me think, okay, the lawyers that he's dealt with have obviously said that he's gotten nothing, but he still feels adamant enough to be looking for lawyers to back him up. So obviously he is he has his truth about the whole thing. So it's kind of, I don't until they start, getting into, because there's going to be a court case coming out of it. And, there's a lawsuit and everything coming out of it. I would not doubt whatsoever that the Tuohys would come back with some sort of, a defamation lawsuit and everything else like that. It just, there's a lot going in with this that I feel it's way too early to be basically going off and saying, "Oh yeah, the Tuohys did wrong," without really any. Because even Michael Oher himself, he hasn't put anything out there other than what he has said.
Yeah.
There is no paperwork. There is no, physical evidence or anything that he's put out there. So it's kind of his word versus the Tuohy's word, and it's going to all clash inside a courtroom somewhere, probably somewhere in Mississippi. Ole Miss, that's where he went. That's where the Tuohys, I believe, still stay is in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Which you say Mississippi, and you kind of already think, "Oh fuck, it's already not looking good." But it is something that, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to sit here and place blame without knowing shit. I don't want to be one of those idiots that's out there going, "Oh yeah, they fucking did wrong," and then they didn't do anything wrong, and then now you have to either go back and apologize or double down on the stupidity. I just don't want to be put into that situation, really. But it is a really crazy situation, especially how long ago that this movie came out. And I asked Kay about it. He said it was bullshit and shouldn't have happened. But I want to see what you think about it. People are saying that
no, what I said is probably bullshit, and it's been situations where people have cooked the books. That's what I said. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. That's what I said.
What I'm saying you said was bullshit was the people calling for Sandra Bullock to give up her Oscars and stuff like that for the
I mean, that's not on her. She ain't got shit to do with that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And was that Kay?
I think you mean.
Oh,
yeah, they ain't got shit to do with her. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she was doing her job, and she did a hell of a job in that movie. That's just what it was. You can't really blame her for everything like that. Now, if she comes out and voluntarily gives it up under her own accord and stuff like that because she feels some sort of way about the family, that's one thing. But for people to actually push for her to do this, it's like, bro, come on. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about Michael Oher. Let's talk about the family. Leave fucking Sandra Bullock the hell out of this. She has nothing to do with it. She did her job. She played the role. The movie's over. Leave it at that. That's fine. We can deal with the situation without having to bring fucking Sandra Bullock into this whole thing. That's not something that needs to be happening. But I mean, there's that situation, and again, there's going to be a lot more coming out about it as the time goes on. And we'll try to keep updated on what's going on. But it is a really crazy situation. Like, honestly, it really is something that kind of makes you step back and go, like you said, like, why did it take so long? Like, what pushed him to further, try to get, like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. What's even crazier is we got NFL players. You got Dolphins cornerback Xavier Howard is being accused of making secret sex videos and then sharing them. There's a video that came out. A woman got into his community and smashed his Bentley with a baseball bat. She was later arrested and stuff.
I didn't hear about that.
You know, it's like, man. Now look, this could also be one of those things of, people say, and we've seen it before. Look, and I've been very adamant on this. If this is true, if he has been doing these secret videos and sharing them and all that other kind of stuff, I don't know why he would share them, because being a player in the NFL, I mean, people are gonna know who the fuck you are unless you're wearing a mask and that shit. But we have seen situations where there is victims, and then there are predators. There are now, again, I'm not saying Xavier Howard is innocent, nor am I saying he's guilty. I'm saying let's hold the court of public opinion to a halt real quick until we start seeing more and more stuff. Now, if Xavier Howard is, in fact, guilty of doing this shit, piece of trash, should be done, do the time that he needs to do, pay the money that he needs to pay, that it is what it is. But if it comes out that he really didn't do it, and this was kind of one of those money grab situations from somebody who was maybe jealous of Xavier Howard, thought that they were going to have a special something relationship, and it just didn't work out, so she's coming back to like ruin the name, which does happen a lot. Just ask Zion Williamson how that shit's going with him. That shit happens all the time. So until we I'm seeing that people are already, damn, they got Xavier Howard with a big ass camera right here going, oh, it's just a film between you and me and all this. It's like, dude, the internet has no chill, honestly. They will jump on anything because this is all these people have to do. But this situation, and I'm looking at the video right now where the girl pulled out the baseball bat and started beating the crap out of the Bentley. It's I mean, somebody put the meme of the Friday After Next when Day Day's, when his ex is throwing shit on his car. He's like, I gotta live here. You don't. People putting that type of meme up. But I mean, that's a situation there where it's like, what are we really doing? Like it. Let's see. It's facing a lawsuit involving the making of distributing how. Yeah, the attorney's denying all accusations. It's just, the weirdest shit is happening right now. And then shortly after that, Robert Quinn, recently retired NFL player, is now in jail and being charged with, I'm sorry, is that armed assault? What is that? What is that? Let me see here. Let me pull this up real quick. Arrested in Arrested in South Carolina on hit and run and assault charges. Yep, assault charge. Not with a weapon. Doesn't specify whether or not it was assault with a weapon, but it was a hit and run situation where I don't know, man. This is another thing that hit and run situations. Was there alcohol involved? Was there belligerent? Yeah. Okay. So he might have been drunk through the whole. There was even the people who were involved with the accident said that Robert Quinn came out and basically told them, "I'll buy you guys new cars." This truck drove off the road, struck several vehicles. Quinn also struck a woman across the face after subsequently driving into her car. So he got into an accident. He got out, punched a woman in the face, or slapped struck a woman in the face, and told them that he would buy them new cars. And then he fled on foot. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Can I ask you guys this real quick? When you're making millions and millions of dollars, former athletes, former, mega movie stars, whatever the fuck. What causes somebody to make stupid decisions to essentially throw it all away?
Never made that much money, so I don't understand the mindset of what those guys have been through. I mean, everyone that never made that much money is say they're trying to act like they're above the law, but that's not always the case. So, yeah, people that don't have the money think about money first. People that have the money don't think about the money at all sometimes. So it's a mixed bag. Like, you never know. Based off of what he said and what you read, it's clear that he was trying to avoid going into a situation because you don't know what legal situation he got going on or what he has to pay and things like that. So that's kind of why he tried to avoid that situation by paying for someone's car and trying to make sure everybody was good outside of getting in with the police, because old records and all of that shit could be involved as well. So you don't know what might happen. What was his reason? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Damn, there's some people speculating. I mean, this usually seems to be a repeating pattern, in the fact of when you have a former NFL player getting into trouble some sort of way, a lot of people essentially immediately refer to CTE problems. That, because of all those years in the league and the head-to-head collisions and all that other kind of stuff, that, it's altered, the mental capacity. Now, could that be a case? It could be a case because, to be completely fair, that happens to a lot of former NFL players. Um, some of them make it. Unfortunately, some of them don't. Uh, I guess it's just a matter of who the person is, what kind of help they're getting, what kind of treatment that they could be getting, or something like that to be able to help them. But you do see this type of stuff, as it relates to CTE. People coming back, oh man, he was never like that. I wonder what happened. You know, Something like that could uh, be the reason why. Now, him being drunk, there's no toxicology report. There's nothing anywhere that says that, oh yeah, his blood alcohol level or anything else like. So there's nothing that. But the only thing that pops up is the word belligerent. So when you hear belligerent, 9 times out of 10, you go towards drunk. But again, there is no reports, at least as of yet, um, that says anything about him being over the legal limit or anything else like that. So um it could just be a bad situation that, okay, like you said, trying to remedy the situation in some way, shape, or form about, the buying the new cars and all that. But then you have the situations where, you know he struck a woman in the face after she challenged him about the car, and that leads me to think, okay, it sounds like it was an intimidation factor. It sounds like there was something like trying to push his weight. And I mean, I don't know what the hell is going to come out of this, but I'm kind of at a point right now where I'm seeing way too many big time athletes or former athletes getting into trouble after the fact or during their careers. Now, everybody is human, everybody makes mistakes. To say that nobody has ever done any drunk driving that isn't, rich and famous and stuff like that, is asinine, because obviously that type of shit happens every single day, whether you have money or not. But where I start to think the situation differs, and like UK, I've never made that amount of money, so I don't know. I would like to think that my ego wouldn't fucking inflate like a hot air balloon, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know myself as a person, and I don't think I would. But again, like you said, I've never been into that type of money, so I don't know where the ego goes, where the thought process goes. Maybe some of these guys do think maybe because I'm rich and famous, I can kind of get away with whatever I want. And a lot of those cases, that's not even close to being true. We talked about the Henry Ruggs situation. The could have gotten an Uber. The twice the legal limit, driving 156 miles an hour through a residential zone. Like, it's just bad decisions that you would think, knowing, especially with these players, you had to fight and claw your way to get into this situation. The amount of blood, sweat, and tears that you had to shed in order to get to the professional level and make it, gone like that. Because of you would hope that because of that grind to get there, they would have it in their head, I can't do anything to fuck this up. But that doesn't happen. Now, some of it I can attribute to, there are a good amount of players out there who were coddled their entire lives because of their athleticism. They're coddled through high school. There are plenty of cases where you see teachers are passing kids just because of their athletic ability. It happens in Texas all the time. Being coddled and not being told no inflates your ego bigger than it should be. Because, again, you feel like you can do no wrong because nobody has told you otherwise. So going on later in life, once they get into these situations and now they're not telling you no, you're in fucking trouble. Now all of a sudden real life kind of hits you. So, I mean, I'm thinking a lot of these teachers, a lot of these adults, a lot of these parents, stop coddling your fucking kids. If they do something wrong, tell them they did something wrong. Have some consequences about it. I'm not saying you have to go and smack your kids or anything else like that. I mean, we did, or I did when I was younger and stuff like that, because, I did stupid shit that deserved it. Now, again, I'm not saying to go and do that, but you need to figure out a way to, again, for lack of a better word or phrase, not coddle your kids. And teachers, holy shit, your job is to teach. Your job is to make sure that, and Dub, appreciate you. You have to surround yourself with people that would tell you what's wrong. And that's 100% true. 100% true. Surround yourself with people who want to do right by you. Not fucking yes men. Not people who are just gonna like, oh yeah, because you're their bank account, essentially. You gotta have people to be able to pull you aside and go, look, you need to stop doing this. That's a real friend. That's a real family member. That's a real what do you even call them? Entourage or any fucking part of the process. Bodyguards, whatever. There needs to be some sort of accountability. And these athletes, I don't know how it can change. Maybe you guys have a better idea of how it can change. But there's way too much of this shit. We're seeing way too much of this shit. These people are supposed to be pillars of the community that kids are supposed to be able to look up to and go, oh, I can do that one day. I can. So when this type of stuff happens, you're not setting the greatest example in the world, obviously. But I look at all this and I go, man, it just seems like a waste to me. It's like somebody else could have been put in that position and done way better. Maybe not on the field, physically or whatever, but off the field. Yeah, it's just, innocent people get hurt. A lot of, these CTE situations and stuff like that, domestic violence issues, all that other kind of stuff. I mean, let's be real, the NFL especially hasn't done shit really when it comes to suspensions or, anything else like that. The only thing that the NFL really gives a fuck about is if you're betting on the games. To the NFL, you can hit your wife, but don't bet on the fucking games. That's just really what it is. I have yet to see anybody other than Ray Rice, really, and that was more because teams just didn't want to sign him or deal with him or anything like that anymore, which I feel more teams should do. But there have been way too many situations where guys are getting away with shit. A slap on the wrist, if anything. So it's just, kids, if you're watching, you're in high school, you're in middle school, you're whatever, you see stuff like this, take it as a lesson. Honestly, take it as a lesson of what not to do when you get to that point in time. It's Mad Six. I know sometimes when a lot of these NFL players do some dumb shit, you're just like, good fucking Lord. Like, just like
Ray Carew?
Say what?
I said like Ray Carew.
Oh,
dumb shit.
In the goddamn trunk.
In the trunk. Like all the hot nigga, you could have hid in the woods. How you gonna hide in the trunk?
Dub, yeah. The NFL initially messed up the Ray Rice situation. They did. But again, they only gave Ray Rice, I believe, a 2-game suspension. And some of the teams were just like, fuck no, we're just not going to sign him. But other things have happened. Kareem Hunt got into big trouble. He's still in the league. Tyreek Hill got into some trouble. He's still into the league. It's just, there's a lot of things that go down that shouldn't go down, and there's no accountability being held because all that matters to these leagues and to these people is their fucking bottom line. If these are superstar athletes that are going to bring asses in seats and money into your bank account, they don't give a fuck what you do. But be real. They really don't care. As long as you're bringing them a victory on fucking Sundays, Mondays, and sometimes Thursdays, it doesn't matter to them. And it's that type of shit that makes people think, oh, fuck yeah, if you do make a shit ton of money, you really can get away with whatever you want.
Pretty much.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying pretty much. Yeah, money, that's all, yeah.
I mean, not once am I going to tell somebody, oh, yeah, make a shit ton of money so you can do whatever you want. Like, I'm never going to say some dumb shit like that. But that's how people feel. People feel the justice system and all that stuff is rigged in favor of the rich. And when you have examples like this, it's kind of hard to tell them no. It's kind of hard to tell them, no, it's not rigged, when you're just giving people slaps on the wrist for bullshit, crazy things. So what do you want people to think? If you don't want people to think that about the justice system, then guess what you need to do? Uphold the fucking law. To everybody, right down the middle. Black, white, brown, yellow, green, blue, doesn't matter.
True.
If it was just equal the way it should be, we wouldn't have these problems. And it would be more, I think if you were to actually put these guys, actually hold them accountable, it would actually make the people who make a shit ton of money second guess going, oh, fuck, if we do fuck up this situation, all of our shit is gone. But they don't think that way. They feel they can, hit a settlement or whatever, slap on the wrist, we're good. That's just what the mindset is. And unfortunately, it is that way. And until that changes, you're still going to get a lot of people who believe the system is rigged, and they haven't been given enough examples to think otherwise. And that's on the system, and that's on the people who have been trying to do all of this stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is, but it definitely needs to change. Before we get into the next topic, ladies and gentlemen, which is the topic of some fight sports, we got our ad from our friends over at Radius. Check it out.
What's up, JAFFO Army? JP here of the All Pro JAFFOs, bringing you a message from our proud partners over at Raise Energy. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring the consumer a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help us put your workouts and focus in general to the very next level. Perfect for anyone at any time. Raise Energy has become the most popular, the best rated energy drink on the market to date, with a phenomenal flavor profile that puts most of the competitors just downright to shame. Powered by the enhanced Refresh technology, Raise Energy delivers with a performance-enhancing energy drink profile that aids in the most often overlooked categories, which include targeted focus, enhanced recovery time, as glycogen becomes depleted, improve clean energy levels, boost in stamina and in hydration. Most importantly, each can of Raise has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. You should not have to drink or settle for any other energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, opt for the smart choice with the #1 fan-voted energy drink on the planet with Raise Energy Drink. Use the promo code ALPHARAISE at checkout to get 15% off of your order. Demand more. Join the Raise Rebellion. Let them know the JAFFOs sent you.
Go our friends at Raise. Go to repsports.com, reppsports.com, and again, use the promo code Alpha Raise to get 15% off of your order. Got to go into the fight game real quick because there was something that happened the other day that's sparking one, outrage, and two, a whole lot of debate. Alicia Baumgartner, the undisputed, I believe it's the super featherweight champion, after her bout a couple of weeks ago against Christina Linardato. I'm gonna fucking butcher this, but Linardato, Linardatou. That's what it is. They fought on July 15th, and this was from Matchroom.com. Matchroom can today confirm that Alicia Baumgartner returned an advertised analytical finding as part of a random anti-doping protocol instituted voluntarily for her bout with Christina Linardato in Detroit on 15th of July. Matchroom was first informed of the result on August 12th. The applicable regulatory authorities are also aware, and we defer to such bodies for further action and guidance as a full investigation is being conducted. Matchroom is committed to promoting a clean and fair sport for all athletes and will assist Alicia and her team during this time, affording her the appropriate due process as we wait to receive more information. Matchroom will not be making any more comment about it. They've had pictures of Alicia Baumgartner a couple of years ago compared to now, and the differences are very noticeable. But that could always be due to, hard work. But looking at it going, and she was hit with a banned steroid. So now her opponent, one is asking for the belts and everything else like that. It's asking for a disqualification. There's a lot of things that are going into it, and it's not really a good look for the sport of boxing, because, especially in women's boxing, because notably there are probably 3 women in the sport of boxing that are as recognized as a lot of the other male boxers, and Alicia Baumgartner was one of those. So to have this come out, it's like, fuck. One, it tarnishes the legacy. I mean, it always tarnishes the legacy, and it's probably going to lead to belts getting stripped. But in this situation, if in fact, I mean, the facts are there, she did test positive for a banned steroid. Match 6, you're a guy who has been in the fight game, has won medals, has been one of those guys that honestly nobody really wants to fuck with. When you see something like this, what kind of goes through your mind, and what do you think the repercussions should be?
I mean, they stupid. Like, man, just smoke weed, man. Everybody want to do all these other funny drugs. Just smoke weed. You be good. Just smoke the trees. Smoke Mother Earth. Let them test you for Mother Earth. Nah, but steroids. It's funny because like when I played football, I had a guy try to introduce me to steroids playing football, and I had a player who actually. I told him about it. He actually, me and him got into a fight. He was like, "Don't be doing." He stopped me from doing it. You took that shit, threw it away before I even took it. And like there's all kind of like repercussions for that shit. And I just feel like for her, like, they know they ain't supposed to be doing that shit. So I mean, you reap what you sow. You lose your titles behind it, then you tarnish your legacy. Then you knew better going into it before you did it. Like I said, go back to everybody. The conversation before. Everybody want to be superhumans and shit. They taking all this, shit. Want to be superhumans, and then you deal with you have to deal with the repercussions. So you lose your belts. If you get stripped, then you get stripped. Then I'm sure you're gonna get suspended for an amount of time. And boxing, to me, like boxing is one of those, like, you only got so many years in boxing. You get stripped for like a couple years, and depending on how long she's been doing it, you get stripped for a couple years. Your career could be over. You might not get that chance to fight for a title again with all the young and upcoming talent there is, in all these sports.
And then for that, and especially in fight sports, something like this can be extremely dangerous. It could hurt somebody severely. It really, there's a lot of things that go into it. You've seen guys taking steroids and stuff in football, and that's dangerous and stuff as well. Baseball, not really as dangerous. I think baseball is actually more entertaining when guys are probably taking the juice and knocking 700-foot home runs. That's just me. I mean, they let it happen for, a good 20 years for a long period of time. So that's neither here nor there. Once again, free Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
but this is one of those situations. Like, I don't think. One, I think she should be stripped of the titles. There should be a suspension. And to be honest, I don't know how much farther past that she's actually going to, because something like this, it puts a stain on your career. You're no longer legitimate at this point.
No.
And it makes me kind of think, where did we? At what point did we get to a point, like you said, everyone wanting to be superhumans and stuff like that? Nobody really relies on true skill and athleticism anymore. There always has to be some sort of edge or something like that that somebody needs to have.
That's just the world we live in, though. Everybody got to be the best. Like, in order to get the bag, you got to be the best. So you're going to do what it takes to get to the top, to be the best.
By any means necessary.
By any means necessary, yep. Whether
Even
it costs you your career.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the chances of it costing you career and tarnishing your legacy are much, much higher than not, because of the fact that all of these professional sports are so, like, the technology and everything that they use for these testings. I mean, there are some people who could get away with certain things and kind of trick the system and stuff like that. There are ways to do that. But it's why run that risk? I would much rather want to be known for my abilities as a natural athlete than I would as an unnatural athlete. I would much rather people say he did it the right way than he cheated throughout his whole career. That's how I wouldn't, honestly, if I'm in a professional sport, being the absolute best is not worth destroying the road to get there. Because again, and like we've said this, when it comes to the decisions that people make and stuff, you grind, the time that you put into everything that these athletes put into their professions, all of that goes away. All of that means nothing.
But then to play devil advocate too, like if she's on like this regimen with all these supplements, she may not have known what she was taking. There's athletes that's giving stuff that don't know what they're taking. And to me, that's just dumb. I'm not taking no. For me, like I'm not. I'm an athlete, but I ain't no athlete. But I'm not taking no pills that I don't know what the fuck I'm taking. You're not gonna just give me some stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna just give me some stuff.
And especially because there's a known history of that type of shit happening.
Yeah,
because there are trainers and promoters and stuff like that who, let's be real, there are very crooked trainers and promoters and stuff like that out there that are willing to hitch their fucking wagon to their meal ticket and will do whatever it is that they possibly can to make sure that their meal ticket makes it, because they know that's money in their pocket down the line.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen trainers in boxing giving fighters tainted water. During the fight, Dylan White, who just got hit, he was just about to have a fight with Anthony Joshua this last week, and he got hit with steroid uses, and there was a video, a straight, plain, in sight, cotton 4 motherfucking K video of him in the corner and his fucking trainer giving him the water and him going like, that's too much. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I never seen anybody react like that with water.
Yeah.
Ever. That tired motherfucker, give me more water. Shit. Like, not a couple of sips going, oh, that's the wrong bottle. What? What do you mean that's the wrong bottle? Like, it's wild to me that success breeds this enviousness, this want to not even have some sort of thought about, I could possibly hurt somebody. I could possibly, there's a lot of ramifications for making this decision. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. Some athletes, it does. Other athletes, obviously, we've seen those athletes, and it kind of goes back to the whole coddle thing. Most of these athletes who get into these situations were never told no their entire fucking lives. That's where you usually see the difference between the really, really good athletes who do it the right way and stay clean and do all that, the good shit, and the athletes that are really good, but then you find out there's something that's fucked up about them. whether it's taking drugs or legal situations or whatever. You can tell who's who. It's not really that difficult to kind of find out, to be honest. Especially based on people's attitudes and that kind of stuff. But this is a situation here, especially the fight game. I love boxing, so I've said this plenty of times. I grew up watching it. I love the sport, and I hate it when shit like this happens. I hate it when the corruption in the judges happens. I hate it when fixed fights and stuff like that happens because it diminishes the sport. And I would feel the same way. I feel the same way about the NFL. When they're doing all of this shit, basically slapped on the wrist for domestic violence and all this other kind of crap, that diminishes the game to me. That diminishes the integrity of the game to me. And that doesn't sit well. As a fan of boxing and football and stuff, that sucks. As somebody who played the game, especially football, it's even worse because you know the grind it takes to get there. And you know that it's not going to be easy. But then you always know that there are some players who are literally willing to do whatever it takes, right or wrong, to get themselves in a big money situation. And it's unfortunate because, again, people get hurt who shouldn't, have to go through it, especially the people in the fight games who are on the receiving end of these, steroid using fighters and everything else like that. It's dangerous. It's stupid. And I'm wondering, but let me figure out from you guys first. What do you think it would take to really, and maybe we're never going to get 100% stopped. Maybe any sport will never 100%, be clean or whatever. But what can be done in order to change the mindset of these athletes so they start making better decisions?
You gotta start holding them more accountable. That's the only thing that's gonna do. Like these little slap on the wrist, so you start giving them like year suspensions and really mess with their bag, like year suspension with no pay. Then they'll straighten up.
I feel like in certain situations, like year-long suspension that could work, but depending on the severity of the situation, could call for bans. Like you can never play the game anymore. Yep. And that could be shown as somebody on the outside looking at that going, well, fuck, if I do that, I'm going to get banned. Nope, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm just going to keep doing it the right way here. Because repercussions don't just affect the person who it's happening to. It works for everyone on the outside looking in because it's a lesson for everybody. If somebody gets nailed for doing something bad, everyone who is witnessing that situation is going to go, if I do that, that's going to happen to me. I can't do that then. I can't get banned. I can't lose it. And especially when you've got like players at the lower tiers and everything else like that, they definitely can't afford to get banned or anything else like that. They're not making enough money for it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's bans, suspensions. Sure, that stuff is easy. It's easy to say it happened, but what? Okay, so we've gotten to the point now, yes, hold the players accountable so that they can start making the right decisions. But now, what needs to be done for the fucking higher-ups to pull their head out of their ass and actually do the right thing? That's the question. How do you get the people that are supposed to be holding these players accountable? How do you hold them accountable when they run the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it just go to having they run the whole thing, but it's like well, I guess a different sport. Like these commissioners, you got to start there. They're the ones who kind of run the league, so and they're the ones, seem like they hand down a lot of the, these fines and stuff. But then you have all these players associations that's involved, and it's just I don't know. There ain't no quick answer to that one, really.
It's a tough one because it's like, especially when we're looking at things like the NFL is run by the owners. Roger Goodell is a puppet of the owners. That's the fact of it. You know, when people are booing Roger Goodell, they're booing the owners. That's what they're doing. But when you have the owners not being held accountable, it's like, what can you really do? Now, you can go and tell the entire population, hey, in order for this to happen, we all need to stop watching the game of football. If every single person in this country can go, all right, we're not going to be watching until you hold everybody, and that means everybody from the high all the way down to the low, accountable. But the question comes, I don't think that's even possible. Because there are people and fans out there that really don't care, honestly. They don't care too much about it. And some of them, it's kind of like that love for the game is so much that would hinder their decision to actually stop watching. Because, you know, like you said, if you start affecting the bag, that's when decisions start getting made. So until everybody, you know, in society kind of agrees on the same thing, is really anything going to change? Or are we just going to be sitting here talking the same thing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, athletes getting in trouble, owners not doing shit about it? What else? Like there's until that kind of happens, it just leaves us in that pit of fuck. Like, I mean, what can you really do? It's shitty. It shouldn't be that way. But I mean,
so what do you think is gonna? What do you think is the way sports is supposed to look like? Like, what do you think it's supposed to look like? Like everybody's, like all of these athletes are upstanding citizens. Like they're not human. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying like. Not like every athlete needs to be perfect. Like, I'm not saying that. Because again, everybody as a human has flaws. Like that's just
right.
It is
but if you're gonna understand the fact of individualism, then you have to understand how they brought up as well. Some of these people are brought up where their parents don't give a shit about them. Like I mean, I talk about him all the time to my friends and stuff because Pat Buchanan. Do y'all remember him? The DB. He played defensive back. He was a corner. He played for the Washington now Commanders, and he played for the Buccaneers. And I think he might have played with the Jets too. He was fast as fuck. Nice. He was a good corner. All right. So basically, his story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his first name Pat. But so basically, the man, he was brought up by a parent that didn't give a damn about him. He was brought up by a single mother. His mom cleared his fucking bank account while he was in the league, while he was in the game. So you got a lot of stories where parents just see them as a fucking tool. They see him as X, Y, and Z. You don't know what these guys might be going through mentally. So they be trying to fucking deal with all of this shit. It's like a lot of these folks ain't fucking, you know what I mean? Like fucking a bunch of these guys, they've been brought up with parents with money or parents that's been in the league and shit like that. Like everybody can't be Stephen Curry. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of these guys are really just fucked up. You see what I'm saying? Like they just brought up from fucked up situations and they was raised by the streets. So they was raised by ignorance. So they was raised by their suburbs, and most of the people in their suburbs was dumb as fuck. So it's like whatever the case may be, the neighborhood gonna raise you if your parents don't. You see what I'm saying? The internet gonna raise you if your parents don't. So a lot of these people are getting influenced and things like that by outside factors. That's not the right thing. So they just doing shit to try to fucking, you know, keep up with every fucking body. The same thing as these kids on TikTok and shit. So, I mean, you got to look at it from that perspective. Just saying that it's like, what's going to make these athletes understand? Nothing. Because these guys, like most of these people are young as fuck. You don't really catch too many older folks doing this shit. You might catch a few like Robert Quinn, but it's like, even with the Robert Quinn situation, like, I mean, fuck all that. I mean, you have anomalies and people just doing a bunch of extra shit. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of people be in situations and they just try to get themselves out of it the best way they can. without trying to go through all of the extra shit. I mean, that's everybody in life, whether if you got money or not. Like, like we all been in a situation where we've tried to get ourselves out of a situation, and none of us have got rich like those guys. So,
I mean, fair, but then that starts making me think, because again, I'm not saying that every athlete or whatever needs to be perfect, but I do feel like there does need to be some sort of standard. Like, I'm not gonna. Should the leagues and stuff like that be able to do more of like the psychology to kind of find out what's going on, what makes an athlete tick and everything? Sure, there could be more money put into that to have a better understanding of where these
technically, they have that
athletes are
shit.
coming
They have
from.
a test. They take a test every draft. All of these guys take a test before they're drafted. The Wonderlic.
Yeah, but that's
all of these guys
not
took
a
the Wonderlic.
psychology
They
test,
have
though.
that. They have it in place. So if they pass the Wonderlic or got to a point where they're able to get drafted, I mean,
but
according to the players,
the
it
Wonderlic
kind of encompasses a lot of different shit.
the Wonderlic, in my opinion, it doesn't give you the full psychology, because there have been people who have passed the Wonderlic test, with flying colors, really hadn't done much in the league or anything else like that, and then there are people who don't really do great on the Wonderlic test and still get drafted high because of the athleticism and everything else like that. The Wonderlic test is not, in my opinion, the full psychology of who it is that we're talking to.
Right, but then
there
you
needs to be...
asking to take a psychology test for an athlete that's scrambling their brain every play. So I mean, it's
absolutely. So that you can have a better understanding on how to deal with these with the people who are going through those problems. Because if somebody's going through some shit, wouldn't you want to help them? Wouldn't
that
you
don't
want
got
to help
shit to do
them
with the
get through
athlete.
that?
That has zero to do with the athlete versus the organization or their handlers. That has zero. You're saying the athlete has to take a psychology test for people outside of them to handle them.
A psychology test so that the teams or the system or whatever knows who they're bringing in, and going, okay, if we're going to bring this guy in, we need to know more about the mentals.
These are billion-dollar corporations. These are billion-dollar corporations.
But that's where I'm saying that there's
they
a
supposed
problem,
to be doing.
That to me
they
is
have
a
investigators.
Problem,
they have things like that.
Money. So because you make all this money, you're not going to care about the mental health and stuff. That's the problem to me.
I feel like you just stuck on this point that these people are not doing what they're supposed to do. I think you're just stuck on that. And I really don't think you understand that these folks are doing more research than you believe. That's just all it is. Things happen. You know what I'm saying? People be in situations. Some people don't know how to deal with shit, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a lot of people grown up in different situations. That's just all it is. So that's why, like, the situation, like us reacting to the Josh shit, we expect a kid coming out of a 2-parent household to understand not to fucking brandish a gun online. That's why everybody reacted that way. You're coming out of a 2-parent household. We expected you to understand how to act. But then a lot of these guys, like, you know what I'm saying, not saying a 2-parent, 1-parent household is going to make the change. But again, it's based on how you were raised. So a lot of these guys, you don't understand how they was raised. They could put on a show and an act to do that psychology test. They could do that as well. It's the same thing as the Wonderlic. That test ain't gonna make a difference. It ain't. You just gotta have people around that'll be able to help people, like genuinely give a shit about people. That's the problem. All of these teams don't have people that genuinely give a shit about guys. So that's kind of the issue. So it's like I was just watching Gil's Arena earlier today. They was talking about like Andre Iguodala. He was talking because he was on there. Him and Evan Turner was on there because they have a podcast together. But it was on there. Andre Iguodala was talking about how, because he played 2 years in Miami, and he was talking about how the Miami Heat pretty much they track guys from like high school, even if they don't draft them. Like if they see that this guy potentially have fucking Miami standards and Miami potential, they track them all the way from high school to college, all that kind of bullshit. So it's based off of the team and how you run your organization. It ain't got nothing to do about the athlete. You can't chastise an athlete for being in the situation the first time. You get what I'm saying? Like, again, we all know the adage. Like, you fuck up, all right, shame on you. You get what I'm saying? It's a learning situation. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Second time, shame on me because I allowed you to do this shit fucking twice. So the same thing. Like, if this kid fuck up, all right, cool. You just had a learning experience. Let's teach him. Now that we taught him, he's still out here on some bullshit. Now that's your fucking fault, buddy. You get what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? Now I'm on your ass because it's like, I'll let you do something twice, and I told you, and all of the bullshit that come with it. So that's why I say you can't really chastise a lot of these players when they don't know. When they just don't understand. Just like the girl with the fucking PEDs. You don't know what situation she was in. And you can cue fucking set it off goddamn reference of Nate, I'm in a bind, Nate. You can cue that shit right there and fucking, you know what I'm saying? So you don't know. She could have been in a situation. She could have been whatever the fuck. But like I said, you kind of got to see how this shit is. If they got a reputation, that shit, all right, cool. If they team is trying to help them get out of that shit, all right, cool. But again, they can have a bunch of dumbasses around them. They can have all kind of shit around them where they not learning. They not understanding, and nobody around them smart enough to realize to stop the fucking goddamn unmanned train.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. There's, and like you said, that at the end of the day, there needs to be, more done and stuff like that about these organizations to be able to help these situations, especially at the high school level and everything too. They got to be able to help the kids out where they need to be helped out, and not a lot of that is being done, and it should be. So hopefully we don't have to keep having these conversations down the road. It's going to be a while until we do, but I mean, really, until there's a change, we'll see what happens next week. I mean, it's just wild situations, and like you said, kid, because I didn't look at it from that way. I'm looking at it from my own visual of why would I want to fuck up this situation if I busted my ass this hard to get here? Again, people may not have had that, type of thought process and stuff, coming through, but, hopefully things can get changed, because I'm honestly tired of seeing these really talented athletes find themselves in situations that destroy the careers that they worked hard for. So that's really my whole thing about it. So whatever needs to be done to get this stuff changed, it needs to be done. But before we move on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen, an ad from our new friends.
These folks gotta be
over at Bud Love.
What if I told you that Bud gets better? Introducing Bud Love, the long-awaited herbal blend that's designed to be mixed with your favorite bud and enjoyed together, like the mixer in a cocktail. Bud Love is made from marshmallow leaf, an ancient medicinal herb, the mother cannabinoid, CBG, and rich natural flavors, including terpenes. Offering a wide variety of premium Herbal Plus mixers to complement your favorite strains. Why? Because every bud needs some love. Our carefully formulated blends improve your experience, complementing your favorite flower and bringing out its best qualities. Many bud lovers even report that it helps reduce unwanted side effects like worry, and instead creates a happy, zen feeling. Bud Love contains no cannabis or nicotine. It won't give you a buzz on its own, but when consumed together, it reduces the amount of bud needed to get the feeling you love, allowing your precious flower to last even longer. Bud Love is best enjoyed with your first bud of the day, carefully paired with your favorite strain. Choose from a variety of delicious flavors, ranging from classic to more fruity to natural, as well as tobacco flavored for those who enjoy a spliff. Mix Bud Love and flower in whatever amounts work best for you for a perfect buzz. Whether you're chilling with friends, attending a social event, or going for a hike, Experiment and find your own love ratio. Bud Love's unique blends allow you to craft a happier, smoother, and more personalized experience. If you love Bud, then Bud Love is for you. Try it today and help us tell the world that Bud does in fact get better with Bud Love.
Yes, everybody, go to budlove.com and use the promo code JAFFOARMY to get 15% off of your first order. Appreciate everybody at Bud Love for giving us the opportunity to partner out with them. I still need to bring the shipment that I got over to Mad Sticks so he can go ahead and try out the den that is Bud Love. But we'll get that situated soon.
Yeah, personally, I'm good.
No?
Yeah, I'm good.
You could have said that off air so they didn't see it. Fucking
Shit, I'm gonna be me 100% of the time. Shit, look, our sponsor is Rays. I don't drink energy drinks, and
that's also fair. Also, a
yeah,
fair point.
they said they selling cannabis that don't have cannabis. Shit, I'm good on the vegan weed. No sir. Absolutely not.
Oh shit, that's funny. Going into the next topic, we got I wanted to touch on this real quick because I feel like it would be something that would to kind of stay in the fight game. Terrence Bud, speaking of Bud, Bud Crawford is looking to do what no other boxer, as far as I've seen or I've heard of, has done. He already is at that point, being a two-time undisputed. He's undisputed in 2 different weight classes, and he's looking for a third. He's looking to basically fight the winner of the Canelo Charlo fight that's happening in the next few weeks. Now, Charlo and Canelo are at the 168 range. Bud is at 47, I believe. So that's a pretty big jump going from 47 up to 68. But that's what he's looking to do. He wants those big fights. He wants all the belts. If he becomes a 3-time undisputed champion, I this might be something that might rub people the wrong way or whatever, but if Bud goes into a third division and becomes a 3-time undisputed champ, I'm sorry. There is no other boxer ever in history that has done that. Therefore, my vote would to have Mr. Terrence Crawford above everybody's favorite money-making son, Money Mayweather.
Man, he ain't everybody's favorite boxer.
Not everybody's. Obviously, a lot of people, but I've made the point where I don't even think Floyd is in my top 5, to be honest with you. Now a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, that's stupid." That fucking call it stupid all you want. I know, I know my shit. I know what I've seen, and he's not up there when it comes to the absolute greatest.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him above Sugar Ray and all those guys. He got there's a whole bunch of boxers before him.
And he's going to say, "Oh, well, 50 and 0." Yeah, you know what?
Rocky, when you run a lot.
Rocky Marciano went 49-0 his entire career and fought in a heavyweight division at the fucking size of 185. Okay, 185 in the heavyweight division. 49-0. I think that's a little bit more impressive, just to be honest. But Bud Crawford, undefeated, 3-time undisputed champ, something that nobody's ever done before. Fuck, dude, it's like that's kind of in the upper echelon of like Mount Rushmore territory. Like top 5, top 4, top 3. Fuck, you might even have a conversation for the top 2. some people may have a conversation. What I'm trying to pull right now, Bud might be the best fighter in boxing history if he goes and does that.
I don't know about all of that.
I know a lot of people wouldn't know about that. I know Hans definitely wouldn't know shit about that if he came on, and he'd probably look at me going, "You're fucking nuts." Go ahead and think that. But again, look, it's something that I've never seen. Nobody's ever seen because it's never been done. And I think he's. Let me look at his record right now because he's close. Terrence Crawford. Record. There we go. Just beat Errol Spence Jr. So right now he's 40-0. 40-0, 31 knockouts. Undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes. I mean, I feel like he could get to 50. Well, how old is he right now? He's 35 right now. That makes it slightly tough.
We'd have to fight like 2 fights a year. Damn near.
Maybe even 3. Ten fights before the age of 40. I mean, it's possible. But how probable?
It depends on like how damaged he getting those fights though. Because they'll suspend you for a certain amount of time till you recover, till they felt like you've recovered enough.
Yeah, there's a minimum 6-month period, I think, right now.
Yep.
Damn. Okay, so 40-0. He's gone to 233 rounds. I mean, right now, pound for pound list, he's at the top of everybody's list. 10 fights before the age of 40, if he gets to 50-0 and he's a 3-time undisputed champ, I don't think there's an argument. Because if people are saying Floyd Mayweather is the greatest of all time at 50-0, he was never undisputed. Not once. Not once was Floyd Mayweather ever undisputed. So Bud already has that twice over on him.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, he didn't even need to get to the 3rd undisputed championship. He probably just needs to get to 50-0 and he'd be good. But if he gets to 50-0 and not like squeaking by either, like dominance wise, and becomes a 3-time undisputed champ, bro, I'm sorry. There's no question in my mind. None. He's better than Floyd, which in retrospect for everybody, because there's a lot of people, minus obviously you and I, Matchsticks. I don't know where Country K sits on that, but minus at least 2 out of the 3 of us here, Floyd is not at the top of that list. But in a lot of people's minds, Floyd is at the top of the list. And I don't really think it should be an argument or a question that Bud Crawford would be better than Floyd Mayweather if he gets to the 50-0 mark and is a 3-time undisputed champion. No question in my mind. And I think at that point, again, he's 35 now. Floyd fought until he was what, like 42, 43? Something like that. And his last fight was against a fucking MMA fighter. His 50th win is against Conor McGregor. And y'all are calling him the greatest of all time. Kiss my motherfucking ass when it comes to that shit. That's like some of you dumbasses thinking Jake Paul's fucking legit. Kiss my fucking ass. He's not a boxer.
Jake Paul gonna be the GOAT.
Stop it. That's sarcasm. Get the fuck out of here with that.
He in my top five. He in my top five.
Top 5 shittiest boxers of all time? Or just think about it, people. Jake Paul fought one boxer his entire career, and he lost. And he went back to fighting MMA, another MMA guy. That's gonna be pretty much his whole career. And if any of you Jake Paul dick riders think that he would ever stand a chance against somebody like Canelo and Crawford and all these other people that he's quote unquote called out, you're fucking delusional. You've been drinking way too much of the goddamn Kool-Aid, and you need to start thinking for yourselves. Okay? Start getting that little critical thinking mind going. Just like, let that expand a little bit instead of sitting behind your goddamn computer freaking over Jake Paul's, dumb shit. Okay? He's not a good fighter. He's not a good boxer. I've watched what he can do. He's not anything special. The only reason why he looks special is because he's fucking fighting MMA fighters. You put him in a cage with those MMA fighters, the same MMA fighters that he beat in boxing, you put him in an octagon with them, he's getting his shit kicked in. And it's not even a question. He sit here like, oh, well, I want to have a rematch with Nate Diaz, but this time in a cage. You don't want to see fucking Nate Diaz in the octagon. Okay? You don't. Trust me, Jake Paul. You do not want to see Nate Diaz in the fucking octagon. Because he will murder you. It's just a fact. All of these MMA fighters, if they would have been in the octagon, they would have killed Jake Paul. And Jake Paul, one fight against a boxer, not even a really top tier one at that, and he got worked. Okay, so again, I don't know where all of this, Jake Paul dick riding has been coming from. I really don't. But it needs to stop because your delusions, people, are starting to ruin the fucking sport. Nobody's taking boxing. If you think that anybody is taking boxing seriously because of Jake Paul, stop watching boxing and go find something else to do because you're nowhere near intelligent enough to be following the sport. Yes, I just called you stupid for fucking watching this guy and actually thinking he's worth a shit. That he's worth $60 in pay-per-view buy. He's not. He's not anywhere near worth that shit. But y'all keep pouring money into his fucking pocket. That's just... I see Jake Paul beat another MMA fighter on his way to becoming a world champion. That's not how you become a world champion. You actually have to fight boxers in order to become a world champion. So technically, in YouTube fights, you got a pretty good record. But when it comes to boxing, you're just like your brother Logan. You're 0-1, bitch. That's just what it is. All right? That's just what it is. And on top of that, the weight differences. He outweighs a lot of these MMA fighters that he's been fighting by 20 pounds plus. Oh, fuck. That doesn't happen in boxing. There's weight classes. This isn't a YouTube fight. You don't play boxing, motherfucker. I know some of these motherfuckers that you've been fighting, you've been paying off and shit too. Don't act like we don't know that fucking game that you're playing. We have video of you fucking talking to people saying, hey, if you let me win, I'll give you a shit ton of money. All right? So don't sit here and act like Jake Paul is worth the fucking shit. Logan Paul's not worth the fucking shit. Neither one of them need to be in the sport of boxing because neither one of them are anywhere near fucking good enough to be there. They're never going to be as good or on the same level. This is a fucking clown show to real boxing fans. This is not actual boxing. This is not... And let me get this... Let me have you realize this real quick, Jake Paul. A lot of the numbers that you've been putting out there about pay-per-view buys and all that shit is boosted because most of the people who are watching your fights are getting it off illegal streams because nobody's willing to pay that type of money to watch you fucking look like a dick out there in the ring.
I beg to differ with a good portion of that for the simple fact of it's entertainment. You got to remember the bottom line of all of this shit is entertainment. Whether if it's scripted or whatever the fuck, I'm not saying, but it's good. It's entertainment.
If you're gonna do scripted entertainment, go be with your brother in the WWE.
No, you have to understand this shit is entertainment, bro. Boxing was fucking dying. You only had a couple motherfuckers. So at the same time, he's pretty much taking Floyd's playbook. Everybody paid to see Floyd fight because they wanted to see him lose. It's the exact same thing for the Paul boy. The exact same
that's
thing.
The thing. Everybody
so
saw
again,
him
it's
lose.
entertainment.
Now nobody gives a shit.
See who lose? Paul?
Yeah, Jake Paul, when he lost to Tommy Fury, everyone was like, oh, see, look, he can't beat a real boxer. Now nobody gives a shit. If he's fighting MMA fighters, nobody gives a fuck. I saw his pay-per-view buys and everything else like that with the Nate Diaz fight. Nate Diaz sold that fight without having to sell that fight. He literally sold that fight by walking out of fucking interviews.
Yeah,
people were watching that fight for Nate Diaz, not for Jake Paul.
Well, they wanted to see Nate Diaz beat
all
Jake
that,
Paul.
All that interest is gone. He lost to Tommy Fury. That interest is fucking gone. Anytime he's going to fight an MMA fighter, nobody gives a shit. Now, if he goes and fights an actual boxer again, then you'll probably have the actual pay-per-view buys and go, because again, like you said, people are going to want to see him lose.
Yeah, but you keep going on the simple fact of everybody is a fan like you. Like, no, they're a fan of seeing people lose. Stupid. Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, you keep making it seem like everybody has to be blood in, blood in, blood out. Like, no. Like, a lot of these people are fair weather fans. A lot of these guys, like a lot of these kids want to see Jake Paul. Again, he's paving the way for a lot of people. Again, all right, I guess the boy making a shitload of money. He making a shitload of money. So I don't know if it's bad parenting. Shit, he flipped that business shit and getting money. That boy getting bread. So it's like, I get what you're saying as far as keeping the integrity of boxing, but boxing should have kept up the integrity of boxing and producing good, better fighters. You shouldn't let no shit like this come in and had actual good product your goddamn self. But the fact that you didn't, you let a motherfucker like this start coming in fighting MMA fighters, having more entertaining fights. He's trying to be a heel, and he's doing this damn good job at it. So again, I praise him for what he needs to be praised for. Yes, is he a boxer? Fuck no. But at the exact same time, is he an entertainer? Absolutely. He is a big entertainer, and he's one of the top entertainers in this country. And you got to respect him for that shit, because he went from Disney to YouTube to now on fucking DAZN and every fucking thing.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Kay. We live in a society where dumb people get put up on a pedestal every fucking day. It's called reality television. That doesn't mean I respect any of them for their entertainment value. Just because stupid people put you on a pedestal doesn't make you any good to me.
Alcohol on another guy. All right, you ain't got to, but at the same time, the boy's still gonna make money and he's still gonna doing it his way. He's still bringing back Fight Night and all them fucking games. Because ain't nobody had no interest in no damn boxing shit like that until that boy came around, because everybody wanted to see him fucking lose. His very first fight had Mike Tyson on the undercard. So you got trying to get him, make the entertainment factor hit for him.
I mean, it's again like
trying to be entertaining.
I understand what you're saying. Like I honestly do. I entertainment value, all that other kind. Sure. But I guess, me being, what I am when it comes to boxing, again, I'm kind of like a lot of the other, like, what you would, I don't say maybe a purist, maybe not. I don't know. But when I see something like this, there's plenty of value in a lot of fighters that are out there right now. Terrence Crawford, Ulysses Spence, the Japanese fighter Inoue. There are fighters out there that are worth it, that are good, and that should be promoted. The problem is, like you said, the sport of boxing is putting their attention in the wrong spot. If you want people to take the sport of boxing seriously, stop promoting this bullshit.
No, have quality fighters. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Have quality fighters. Have those fighters
them.
make money. No. Make those fighters. They got to generate money. Like, again, Floyd changed a lot of shit. People can hate Floyd for all you want to, but Floyd boosted the money for fighters. Fighters weren't getting paid like that until Floyd came, and now they're getting paid crazy money. Crazy money. So, yeah, Terrence Crawford and all of them, they ate, but they ate because Floyd already came. Because he real deal could have got money like the old boxers, where they real deal had CTE, or they had over 100 some fucking fights. Like, favorite boxer has over 100 fights. So you gotta look at it from that perspective. It's like the reason why they probably had that many fights, the motherfuckers wasn't getting paid like that. They had to get money. People got livelihoods. Like, if you know what I'm saying, they ain't like NBA back in the day where motherfuckers got real jobs and shit, or NFL. They got like, nah, like these motherfuckers.
Playing professional football was a secondary.
Yeah, but basketball too. Like, a lot of that shit was secondary for a lot of them guys. So yeah, like, these guys are making money, so the entertainment matters. Like, if you're not putting butts in seats, that means you ain't got no fucking money. You ain't got no money coming in. So that's the name of the game. Shit.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm just gonna like put it at this. Yes, what you're saying is true. I'm just saying I don't like what it's doing. As somebody who is a big time fan of the sport, like, yeah, I can acknowledge what's happening, but I don't necessarily have to like the direction that it's going. That's really the whole aspect of things. Fuck up this cat right now. Hey, get your ass out of here.
I mean, you can keep it your way, and then your fighters don't have no money. Now they out the now you're talking about more crime and how these athletes are still getting.
But there's a difference between, like you said, Floyd being the one, who brought that all, and then a fucking YouTuber. Like, if another boxer was coming out and doing like what Floyd was doing, and with the entertainment value, all that type of stuff, sure, that'd be something completely different. But this fucking YouTuber, that to me is a problem in the sports aspect of how they promote things. If you're more willing to promote a YouTuber, that's a fucking problem. Even though you do have all of these good fighters that are around that you can promote, you're more worried about the fucking the pay-per-view buys that, again, are not there. They're not as big and lucrative as they make it seem. They boost their numbers more than they've ever done. And this is even with Jake Paul and all this the YouTube fights and shit that have been coming on.
Why do you think they boost their numbers?
They boost their numbers so that they can actually say, see, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing.
Well, I understand the reason. I'm saying, why do you think they're boosting their numbers? What makes you believe they're boosting their numbers? Because I think you them in other countries is different than America.
They boost their numbers so they can one, feed the ego, and two, put out this fucking false narrative that they're actually worth a shit.
I got that. You keep answering the same question that I'm not asking. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, what makes you believe boosting their numbers? Like I'm saying, in other countries, the fandom is different. Professional athletes from overseas, when they come to America, they're looking at us, they're looking down at us because we're not fans like they are over there. Soccer players, for instance.
So are you asking
like soccer
me?
Players' fandom and shit like that is a lot bigger in other countries. So their fandom is real in other countries than it is in America.
When you're asking me what makes me believe that they're boosting their numbers, it's not so much to believe it. I've seen it. They say they've made this many pay-per-view buys, but when you look at what it actually is, it's not. That's what I'm saying. They are boosting their numbers. Jake Paul does this more than anybody. They boost their numbers so they make it seem like they're better than what they.
The reason you're saying the reason. I got that. Like I have no problem understanding the reason.
So
I understand why you believe they're boosting their numbers to get that positive effect from that.
That's what makes me believe they're boosting their numbers because of the fact that I'm watching them say what it is versus what it actually is. That's what makes me believe that they're boosting their numbers because they're lying about it.
Again, boosting and lying is the exact same thing, dog. Like that's, you know what? You're right. Whatever. It don't matter.
I'm just saying, like, if you need to boost your numbers, if you need to lie about your shit, that tells me you're a fucking a farce. You are a lie. You are not what you are portraying yourself to be. And that's a problem with me. If you have to lie about your numbers, you really don't want the shit. Tell it what it is. Tell the numbers what they are. Like, you know, obviously they're not going to be there, or don't even mention it. Because then you're going to have people coming in and fact checking your ass going, actually, no, bro, you didn't have these pay-per-view buys. Your numbers were actually way less than you're saying that they were. So it to me, it's just one of those things where people are feeding it. The casual fan is feeding into a lie. And they're suffering because of it, honestly. They're not getting a good product. They're talking about like entertainment because they want to see him lose. Yeah, they want to see him lose, but that doesn't mean the product that they're putting out there is going to be any good for that to happen. The fights have never been anything that people go, oh, wow, Jake Paul's really showing some skill out there. He's really showing some footwork. He's really doing. Not once have they ever gone into that fucking realm because he's not that. So it's again, maybe I'm just too passionate about it. I think overthink it too much, whatever. That's fine. I just look at it going, the integrity of the sport is being shit on by fucking YouTube fighters who really don't give a shit about the sport. That's really what it is. They're there for the money. That's it. You know, so it's, if you're going to be a YouTube fighter, be a fucking YouTube fighter, but don't sit here and call yourself an actual boxer when you're not. Be what you are. Make your money off your YouTube boxing because, you know, you will. The entertainment aspect and all that stuff. People would love to see YouTubers beat each other's ass. That's just, you know, it's fine. You know, you can have shit like that. But stay the fuck out of the real boxing world. Stay out. Because it's just, you're not bringing anything to the sport. You're really not. As much as you think you are, those are a lot of the people that are there blowing smoke up your fucking ass because they're, again, pitching that fucking bandwagon to you. Okay, that's really all it is. But, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us on this Friday night. We appreciate Bud Love. We appreciate Raise. We appreciate all the sponsors that are with us throughout this entire process. Thank you to the Jaffo Army for being with us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday next week. Until then, the All Pro Jaffo is the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. I'm your host, JP, the greatest DJ in the fucking world, DJ Mad 6 and Country Tag. We will see you guys later. Deuces.